price. So I said in my last video about the MacBook Pros that the Mac Mini is actually the more interesting machine. And I mean it, it really is. It's just gotten a refresh from the M1 chip that it had before to now having an M2 and an M2 Pro option, both of which are kind of game changers in their own ways. So first, the M2 version, the base M2 Mac Mini, is a game changer because it's all the benefits of the new Apple Silicon stuff, the second generation 5nm process, the blazing fast shared memory, all the optimizations that come with it for a starting price of $599 US. So I mean, it's a pretty simple computer, not even a small tower, just an absolutely tiny computer in there. It's basically the laptop, but without the screen and the keyboard. Only one color, silver, and then a decent selection of ports around the back, along with a small exhaust vent for active cooling and a headphone jack. And so this thing packs a surprisingly enormous power for its size. We've seen this Apple Silicon transition play out over the past 2 years. And when the Mac Mini moved to Apple Silicon from the Intel chips, it took an absolutely hilarious leap up in performance. Some of the numbers on paper are just ridiculous. You'll have to forgive me for using Apple's stupid unlabeled charts, but like, just to give you an idea, this completely changed the nature of the product. So this M1 Mac Mini is already dramatically better than the Intel one for 99% of people, and now the M2 comes along with more cores, a more powerful CPU and GPU, more max memory, and a higher overall performance ceiling, and the price goes down from $699 to $599. Apple almost never lowers the price of the entry level of anything, but that's exactly what's happened here. So we just got a computer that's more powerful and more capable and more efficient for less money. So then we also have the M2 Pro Mac Mini. This is the one that I've been testing and using. I can't say the exact same tiny body because the M2 Pro version also does gain 2 more Thunderbolt ports. So now there's 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the back, along with everything else still here. And that means you can now do 3 external displays instead of 2. And you can still option up to 10 gigabit Ethernet if you're blessed with that type of internet connection, or if you're at an institution that will take advantage of the networking capability. And yes, that is HDMI 2.1. But the big deal here with this new chip is the M2 Pro is so much more performant thanks to the updated architecture and the extra cores that it's now benchmarking actually over the M1 Pro and the M1 Max in the CPU department that was in the highest end MacBook Pros before. I had to double take when I first read that because M1 Max has been so incredible, but yet here we are, even the incremental improvements here are notable. And on top of that, the thermal advantage potentially of a Mac Mini with active cooling in a taller chassis over a MacBook Pro can also mean, in the long term, sustained CPU performance over time. You may see even better results there. So this thing's performance is rock solid. So long, Apple's prioritized these laptops, which makes perfect sense, by the way. They've been great. Lots of people buy them. But some people get the laptop and then just keep it in one room all the time because desktop options aren't as appealing. And if we're being honest, the iMac is cool, but it's not for everyone. Like even right now, it kind of feels like Apple low-key forgot about the iMac. It's just been sitting with the unupgraded M1 chip for a little while now, even when M2 is out. But then they dropped Mac Studio, and Mac Studio is excellent in the highest end configurations, and I can't wait for the M2 Ultra here. But yeah, the Mac Mini now slots in really nicely underneath all of that. And of course, with the modularity of a desktop that doesn't come with a monitor built in, now you pick whatever display you want with the $700 you save. It's funny, in recent reviews, I've been trying to give sustainability notes where it's relevant. And so there are some neat ones with this machine, like recycled aluminum, the packaging on the outside, the recycled plastics on the inside of the Mac, all that's cool. But all of that sort of is outweighed by the ability to continue using your same display and swap out displays however you want, unlike the iMac.